the agendas of whoever it is who are controlling this planet sometimes do not care too much for individual human welfare. And it is for that reason that some of the people who we've been privileged to speak to have come forward to talk to us. Because as time goes on, they find themselves more and more uncomfortable with the things that they have been required to do in the course of their service to their country, which was the reason why they had signed up for whatever it was that they were doing when they were 20-year-old kids. Okay? One of the people who falls into that category is Dr. Pete Peterson, who is not here, and he's doing fine. He continues to convey his message to you of apologies, and we will get him at a future conference where we can learn an awful lot from this man. Now, one of the things that motivated him to come forward was his own increasing distaste at the projects which he had been involved in. And one of the many things we talked to him about was about what is known colloquially as the Super Soldier Program. And to refer to a human being as this sort of asset, this disposable asset in the Super Soldier Program, tells you a little bit about how the powers that be regard the human life and the human spirit. And Duncan will tell you a little bit about this himself in the hour that he has available. But Duncan is the first generation of this particular program. And off record, we talked to Dr. Pete Peterson, and I've got to be a little careful about this, but he talked about Duncan O'Finioan being the first generation of this program. And when we mean the first generation, we're not talking about fathers and sons, we're talking about leaps in technology. Like the first generation aircraft was the Wright brothers. The second generation aircraft was a Second World War early fighter jet. The third generation aircraft is the B-2 bomber. The fourth generation aircraft are the things that officially do not exist and which fly off in the secret space program. The Super Soldier Program is now in its fourth generation, and we were told some details about this.
At least.
And I am still trying to. I'm still trying to. At least. I'm just reporting. Can we say at least? That may be true.
No, it's just that we don't know what generation for sure, because we don't know, they haven't let on.
I'm just reporting what Dr. Peterson told us.
The part was called Project Talent. But go ahead.
Yeah, and so... Thank you. So, what you're going to hear just now is the personal story of somebody who is well described as a real-life Jason Bourne. He's trying to discover his identity. He's trying to figure out who did this to him and why, and what happened, and what memories he still has to recover in the past that are still blank. We're very privileged to count him as a personal friend. He's got a man. He's a man the heart the size of a planet. We love him to pieces. And the best story here is told from him in person. This is the important part of conferences like this. When you're looking at a little video, which is 2 inches by 3 inches on your computer screen, or reading a transcript, is not the same as hearing the words spoken from the heart of the man who's been so deeply affected by these programs. And Duncan O'Finioan, please come to the stage.
And I do want to say that when Bill was talking about first generation and so on, Actually, what we're talking about, the logical progression of that becomes robots. Okay. Becomes things like the Terminator, becomes things like human beings that are combined with machines who have limbs that have been enhanced, and I'm sure that Duncan can clarify this for you. But that's where we're going with this. So I just wanted to be a little more specific, not quite so general, so that you understood where we're going with this. And there is no superficial relationship between some of the things that Pete Peterson was involved in and we are not allowed to talk about, and what the other levels of what Duncan was the first, if you will, test case, or the main test case, the prototype, however you want to put it, the human prototype, or. Okay, so with those leading comments, you can take that where you will. Duncan OFinioan.
Thank you. Well, I did not expect this. Thank everybody for showing up this morning, especially Bill and Carrie and Project Camelot for letting me do this. I have no clue before I talk what I'm going to say. I just walk up and let it come out. I'll start with, as Bill was alluding to, the generations of this project. He is correct. This is basically the fourth generation that we're in now. I was first generation 1960s. There was a previous generation in the 1950s that was a failed experiment. So basically, in my generation, they started the program all from scratch. And we're right now, if my information is correct, in the fourth generation. What I'd like to do tonight, or this morning, I'm still on East Coast time, I don't know what time it is. I'm going to try something different. I'm going to try to stay away for the first 20 minutes or so from any scientific standpoint. What I'd like everyone to do is just take a couple of deep breaths, exhale it slowly, relax yourself. I'm going to try a little experiment of my own and see how it goes. We're going to tell a little story. The story starts in the winter of 1966. And if anybody knows what eastern Kentucky looked like in 1966, well, you're better than I am because I don't remember. You're talking two-lane roads, mostly gravel. Eastern Kentucky in the 1960s looked like a throwback to the 1920s. And that's where I'm from. Well, one winter afternoon, I'm loaded up in a truck by my parents. And I'm taken to a hardware store. It's the only hardware